get them in for it, pass the biscuits.
I need motivation.
Y'all ready?
Hey, are y'all taking tickets too?
That's right.
Come on in. We got two sides going. Y'all want to split up? One side. But we wanted to kind of start it off with a bang. And, oh, kiss cam. Kiss cam, there you go, kiss cam. Come on, man. I figured we had enough crowd, we could act like the big stadiums, you know. Appreciate you being good sports, good to see y'all. Now, as last year, we're going to throw a little twist on them. You sit in the burgundy chair, that means you get that chair. Congratulations. Do you ever venture into Pamlico Sound and come over to Bay River or anything like that?
Yeah, we fish Pungo, Pamlico, Bay River, that area mostly. But to answer your question about locating trout, what we look for in our area, since we don't have lunar tides, is wind-blown current and beta months. Those are the two most important things that I see to find speckled trout in our area.
Yeah, that's me, and I'll show you how to do that. And so, what we're going to talk about also, like I just put mile point right there, so I entered that in, and I've got an X right there. I'm going to show you how to mark if it's a rock, if it's a drop, if it's a hole. I'll show you how to distinguish them all on your charts here in just a little bit. 15 feet. So we're only seeing probably the width of our boat. So you're going through there and you go, well, there's no fish here. What you're missing is all this stuff right out here, which is only, you know, so we're 10 feet here, it's another 30 feet out, or 50 feet out. You're missing all that. So you go into the area, you go, oh, there's nothing here, you take off, you just left all these rocks, all this structure, and the fish associated with it. So what I'll do is I take this, a good example. So we're trout fishing probably in November. I go, you know, we're back more deeper in the creeks, back in the creeks a bit. And I'm going through there, and all of a sudden, these are rocks, but I spotted fish right over here. And so what I told my guys, I said,
It's not North Carolina, but all the rest of the country.
No, they actually grow they grow slower in the Gulf, which is the center of their range. But like I said, they have a much longer growing season. They also don't have a lot of the environmental challenges like we have, like the cold sun stuff. They get them down there, but not at the frequency we do here. So over time, our sea trout have adapted to the conditions because they know they're not going to live very long. They grow fast, they mature quickly. They're trying to get to that point where they can contribute to the next, you know.
Destruction, the reason I float it is because if you use a jig head, well, you're going to like that because they're going to be coming to you to buy more jig heads. But the bottom's just so nasty, you got to float it. You can fish a mirror over it, you just got to get your timing right and keep the mirror. No, mirror. But you can set this, you take that, was it bait binder? Yep. I tried that last year, that does work. And floating a live shrimp or a mullet, but a live shrimp's just hard to beat where I'm at because the river's so full of them. And when you clean a trout and it's got 10 shrimp in his stomach and spitting one up and eating yours, you know they're gorging on it. It's 15, 20 count shrimp.
do you find that they hold tight to the structure, or are they a little bit off of it? I mean, like a public drum or striker, or totally different?
No, and I say the bridge is in sight. You know, we got a lot of rocks.
So write that down. Write that down.
You know, a lot of times if I pull up to a bridge like in Jacksonville, fill, everybody wants to throw right beside that pile. And I'll throw just as far away from the bridge. And some of those menhaden, they like to set off from the bridge, and that's when that 17 is dead in the river. And that's what's been on there.
Time it is. Summertime, when you're fishing 3, 4, 5 foot of water, throw it out there, let it sink down, get a 4 or 5 count, a couple good hard pops, let it set 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, and then pop it again. At the time, 90% of my 17s are tipped with what I call a little tip hook, little feather. Todd, those guys there at Blue Back Tackle, they tie some very, very pretty hooks. A lot prettier than what mine are, but I sit there in the garage and I'll tie 8, 10 at a time. It just gives a little extra flash to it, and some days it makes the difference.
1 fish is luck, 2 fish is momentum, 3 fish is pattern. We get that 3rd fish in there, we start thinking, why did we catch that fish? What's the reason that fish is laid up where it was, or that school of fish is located where it was? And then we start keying in on it, and then we duplicate what we just found.
Gotcha.
Those are locating the bait and using the boat, controlling the boat without making noise are very, very important. Even more so with a fly rod because you have the ability to cast less distance to cover less water with a fly rod. Right, so if I'm fly fishing for them, my average caster's throwing 30 or 40 feet. I have to get awful close to those fish to get that bite.
See that weight under the float, but the reason I got mine kind of separated, if you were to go outside and throw it, it streamlines that. Just imagine that sinker pulling that through the air. It lays out just like that. And that sinker will take it. You just have less trouble with it. You know, we find it's kind of a weird rig. You know, people.
Because a lot of your points are formed, there'll be sand off of that point. Or I'll ride along the shoreline and you'll notice your shoreline will be grassy, 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 and then you'll see a little strip of sand. It may not be from here to the end of the stage, but a lot of times you see that strip of sand on the shore, there's a sandy bottom out in front of it. You know, it might not even be on a point, it might just be on a straight shoreline. And I've done really good stopping on those spots, you know, because I know that's a sandy bottom off of that little sandy patch on the beach there.
How it is in Swan. I got some creeks where it appears to be just right. Tide coming in, tide going out. And 100 yards away could be another creek, could be just the opposite. The flow will be opposite, and it's just simply, so it's 2 inlets that are.
Historically for us, if you have any piers, right, any standing structure in the ocean, piers are a great spot. Any kind of jetty walls, you've got inlets, any kind of that stuff. We have a couple different places where we have freshwater runoff, so big, like drain tiles from the sewers from all the beach hotels. You know, they all tie into one drain tile and they run all the freshwater dumps into the ocean. There's always bait on them.
Noticed on your slip coat rig, You don't have just a standard like kill hook or regular hook, you got a treble.
Oh, yeah, that's my catch and cook.
Catch and cook hook.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, you'll hear all different stories, but if you'll hit that fish, set the hook, as soon as the float goes under, you hardly ever, he won't be gut hooked, not many times.
Now, what size hook is that?
That's the number 4 3/8.
Do you ever downsize, or is that good enough?
No, I'm gonna, you'll hear different things, especially trout fishing, but I'm number 4. That hook doesn't look that big in a 20-pound drum's mouth.
Yeah.
I slipped my mind this morning that veterans are very important to me because we're able to do such things as these. So, not to embarrass anybody, but if you are a veteran or active duty, if you don't mind standing. Without you guys, we would not be able to be here doing what we're doing because we would not be free. So thank y'all so much.
Well, there's 4 main things that you need to look for to find flounder. Number 1 is an abundance of bait on the shoreline. Sometimes it doesn't have to be necessarily on the shoreline. It can be kind of off the shoreline, but that will key in that there's flounder in that vicinity. 2, clean, clear water. That's fairly important for flounder fishing, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, and they catch them in dirty water, but I'm always looking for clean, clear water. Flounder are sight feeders, and the water needs to be nice and clear. The clearer the better, in my opinion. Number 3, moving water or current. That's very important. You got to have a little bit of current flow. I've caught flounder in completely dead, not moving water, but a lot of times they're looking for a little bit of current flow, as all fish are for feeding on bait. And number 4, a little bit of structure. Structure, I use that kind of loosely. It might mean a little tiny ledge of some sort, or a stump bed or a dock or whatever. But those are the 4 keys to flounder fishing, and we can kind of, in my opinion, we can kind of elaborate a little bit on them a little bit later.
I want to go off of what Richard was talking about, because flounder bury down into the sand, they bury down into the mud. So basically, they're not like a trout or a redfish, they're not swimming around. So basically what these guys are doing is they're burying themselves and waiting for the bait to come to them. So basically what Richard was talking about is he likes the clear water because you want him to see it, and he wants bait because when the flounder are submerged down, covered up, basically what you're doing is the flounder are waiting for something to come over top of them or come near them like that, and then they'll strike it. Because they're not out swimming around. Most of the time they're not out swimming around looking for the bait. They're letting the bait come to them. So the clear water is important. And then also where he said you got moving water. You want the moving water because that's moving the bait to where the flounders are settled into the sand and mud, whatever the area is. And then the structure is because of the bait again. So basically you're trying to find the bait more so on these guys than other ones because they're stationary. And so the bait's important.
Out of the current where a school of fish can sit and let the bait draw to them. So when you take that into account, you narrow down this larger area to 5 or 6 places that you can stop and fish probably in a couple hours here. So just when you're looking at it on the map, just try to figure out, okay, where are the places that are likely out of the current that these fish feel safe, but they'd have an ample spot.
These people you see on this banner right here, they sponsor you. They didn't sponsor me, they sponsor you guys. They give all of this stuff for you to try so that you can maybe do a little bit more in your fishing ways, learn a little bit, use something that maybe you wouldn't have used. And that way when you see it works, when you go back to the store, maybe you invest in them because they've definitely invested in you. We have got some really great sponsors this year. When I told them about the event, I told them what we were doing, they said, yes, we'd love to help. So, I mean, they're invested 100% in you guys. So maybe when you get this stuff, try it out. Definitely, if you like it, reinvest back in them, because this is great. I mean, we calculated it up the other day, and we're giving away about $11,000 worth of stuff. So, you know, all this stuff costs money, and we appreciate you guys coming. That's why we're doing it.
From the moment that I met Neuse River and the people in Oriental and y'all, that's what's kept me coming back. I did the Inshore Institute the first time. I told Todd, let's see how see how it goes. And I've done a whole bunch of those as well. And I can tell you, y'all got a special group of people. You've got a special fishery here. And I thoroughly enjoy coming back every single year to do it. I do it because I love to be around y'all. Last year was a blast. This year's turning into a blast as well.